Hello and welcome to my first ever bullet journal video. In this video, we'll be talking about the basic how-tos of bullet journaling and what the rules are. We'll also be taking a flip through all three of my journals to see the differences between them, and boy, are there differences. First, I would like to say the 4 rules of bullet journaling I've come up with in my years. 1, there are no rules. Don't let anyone tell you you have to journal in a specific way. 2, similarly, make it your own. Use it how you need it and what makes you happy. You probably won't journal the same way as me, and that's okay. That's really great. 3, it's okay to change. You'll see that a lot in this video with my flip throughs. And 4, it's not actually a rule, but it's something to note is that bullet journaling is actually a method of keeping track of lists and notes made by someone specific. Many bullet journals nowadays don't really follow that specific rule, but are still considered bullet journals. A link to the original bullet journal method will be in the description if you want to take a look at that. Okay, so what do I need to start a bullet journal? Well, first of all, you need a notebook or a journal. So I could talk forever about journals, but the main thing to know is that there are a couple main page styles. You could have dotted pages, like the ones I have in my journal. You could have grids, you could have lines, and you could have blank spaces. Most bullet journals use the dot style, but once again, you can use whatever you want to use. So once again, I could talk forever about journals, so if you want a little mini guide to help you find the right journal for you, let me know. And secondly, you'll need a writing utensil of any kind. This black Sharpie pen is my favorite. I have many of them. Thirdly, you're going to need your creativity. I know it's kind of cheesy, but it's the best thing. And for any optional supplies you want to decorate with. That includes markers, pens, stickers, washi tape, paint, and whatever else your brain comes up with. But once again, those are totally optional. So now let's talk a bit about basic layouts. So typically a journal will have 4 main sections: a yearly, monthly, weekly, and daily spreads. So a yearly spread is seen really well in my current bullet journal. It has a year at a glance or a year review where you write basic things, and then the rest of it can be whatever you want. I put goals, a spacing guide, I put like movies and books I want to check out, my bills and income, some health trackers, and a savings tracker. When it comes to monthly, I definitely have changed over the years, and I want to show you. This purple one is my first bullet journal ever, and my very first monthly spread looked like this. It was just a mini calendar. But the rest of the monthly spreads in this book look like this. They're very big, they're very wide, they're very good for writing a lot of things in. My monthlies changed in my second bullet journal from last year. This is a really good example. I made this one really colorful, really pretty, and it wasn't really all that big for writing things in. And then we have this one, just another plain one. The current monthly style I'm using is this one, where I have a lot of space on the side to write notes or to-do lists, and smaller boxes because I don't have as much going on. Weeklies are also extremely different for me. I started weeklies looking like this. I had a spot for home, I had a spot for school, and I had a spot for work. This worked for me for a long time, but then in June I decided to change it up, and I went to something like this. This spread was one that I came up with in my own brain, and it worked really well for me. Whenever I want a weekly spread that has the boxes to write things in, I always go back to this one as my plan as my plan A, as my home base. It really works well for me. But I have used lots of different ones. Like this one is circles. And this weekly is also kind of a daily. I have my weekly set up on the side of what I need to do that week, but then I just wrote what I had to do that day, any to-do lists here, and a goal, and gratitude. And my current week looks a bit like this. It looks very different. I currently am in a stage of my life with quarantine and everything where I don't need a lot of space to write my weekly tasks, so I just put them up here very small so I have room for lots of other things that are more important to me at the time, such as trackers, which is what we're actually going to talk about next. So these things are called trackers. Trackers are a big thing in the bullet journal world. So I currently am tracking my happy activities and my sleep, but other trackers I have are my mood, what I'm currently tracking. June of last year I got really creative. A roll of the dice self-care tracker. Obviously I didn't follow through with that one. But most trackers and most bullet journals will look kind of like this, or they'll look kind of similar or very different, but they have the same purpose. They keep you in charge of your habits, and you mark them off if you've completed them, or if you haven't completed them, they are blank. And I don't have any trackers in my first journal. So how should it look? Obviously, my bullet journal, oh, see, here's some more trackers. My bullet journal is very colorful. And I write a lot in here. I put a lot of time and effort into making it look nice. But really, bullet journaling for me is about the aesthetic. I mean, yes, it is a planner, but if I'm going to use it, I have to think it looks pretty. I have to think it looks nice. And so the main question is, what will entice you to use your journal? What will entice you to open this up every day and write your thoughts down? There are really two main camps that people fall into, though, when it comes to journaling. And it's colorful, like the one I have here, or it's a minimalistic style. And a minimalistic style is really just, the black and white pages, not a lot of color, sometimes a little bit of decoration, but it's mostly just the facts, Jack. And that's okay too. Once again, it's whatever will make you use your journal. So how should I use my journal? As you've seen in my flip-throughs, I use my journal for lots of different things. You can use your journal as your everything. You can use it as a planner, as a thoughts journal where you write things down, memory keeping and scrapbooking. I have lots of that in this current book. I made a spread where it's just my favorite things, which is mostly my husband and my cat, because I love them very, very much. And you can have a bullet journal just for lists. You can have a bullet journal for specific things, such as teaching or going on a vacation. And I've used all of these at different times. And I hope that by now you've understood that one of the biggest things in my journals I want you to take away is that it's okay to change. It's okay to make your journals look completely different week to week. It's okay to make your spreads look different, and it's okay to use them for different purposes week to week. So when do I set up my pages? Now, when you get your journal, you're going to be super excited and you're going to be super tempted to set up all the pages at once, but I encourage you to try and wait and set them up week to week. Now, for some people, setting them all up at once makes total sense and it is awesome. It works for them. It doesn't for me. For me, it takes the fun out of it. So I set mine up week to week, and I just feel a lot more free when I add random, because I can add random pages. I can write extra long on one day, or I can add in a drawing when I'm bored or have an extra notes. In my first journal, especially in December, I can show you. Oh yeah, so in November, I have November, our title page, monthly, mood, health, gratitude tracker, some bills tracking, and then a weekly. Here's a different weekly spread. Weekly. Then I needed to write a Thanksgiving shopping list. So I did. And a Christmas shopping list. So I did. And then I made another weekly, and then I just have a coloring page that I put in. And another bit of my money tracking. And then it's December. And because I went week to week, I was able to add all of those things without worrying about it. So that is it for this video. I hope you have enjoyed this quick and dirty beginner's guide to bullet journaling. If there are any questions or video suggestions, please put them in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, have fun journaling, and live a grace-filled life.